Once upon a time, in a quiet little town, there lived a young man named Jack. Jack was known for his charm and quick wit, but he had a flaw. He constantly made excuses to avoid responsibilities. Whether it was his studies, works, or promises to loved ones, Jack had a habit of procrastinating, always telling himself, "I'll do it tomorrow." Jack's best friend, Emma, often tried to help him. "Jack," she said one day, "life doesn't wait. If you keep delaying, you might miss the opportunities that truly matter." Jack laughed it off, saying, "Relax, Emma. Life's not a race." One summer, an old man named Mr. Lawrence moved into the neighborhood. He was a retired teacher with a reputation for wisdom, and many people sought his advice. Emma urged Jack to meet him, hoping the wise man could spark a change in him. Reluctantly, Jack agreed. One evening, he knocked on Mr. Lawrence's door and was invited in. The old man's home was filled with books, artifacts, and a peaceful ambiance. Mr. Lawrence welcomed Jack warmly and asked, "What brings you here, young man?" Jack hesitated, then confessed, "I don't know where my life is going. I keep putting things off, and now it feels like I've achieved nothing." Emma thought you might have some advice. Mr. Lawrence smiled knowingly. "Ah, the weight of procrastination. I have just the thing for you." He reached into a drawer and pulled out a beautifully crafted hourglass. The golden frame gleamed, and the fine sand inside sparkled under the dim light. "This," said Mr. Lawrence, handing the hourglass to Jack, "represents your time. Every grain of sand is a moment you'll never get back. Hold it and tell me what you feel." Jack turned the hourglass in his hands. "It's beautiful," he said, "but it's just an hourglass." "Ah," Mr. Lawrence replied, "but imagine this. Every time you delay a decision, every time you push something important to tomorrow, a grain of sand slips through, never to return. Time doesn't wait, Jack." Jack felt a pang of guilt, but shrugged it off. "I understand, but life's not that simple." Mr. Lawrence looked at him intently. "I'll tell you a story. When I was your age, I had a friend named William. He was a brilliant artist, but struggled with self-doubt. He often told me, 'I'll paint my masterpiece one day.' Years passed, and that one day never came. William died young, and his dream died with him. I never forgot the weight of his unfinished masterpiece." Jack stared at the hourglass, the grains of sand slipping silently from one chamber to the other. Something stirred within him, but he left Mr. Lawrence's house, unsure if the lesson truly resonated. Months passed, and Jack continued his routine of delay. One evening, Emma called him in tears. "Jack," she sobbed, "my dad had a heart attack. He's in the hospital, and I don't know what to do." Jack's heart sank. Emma's father, Mr. Andrews, had always been kind to him, treating him like a son. Jack rushed to the hospital, guilt gnawing at him. Mr. Andrews was conscious, but weak. He took Jack's hand and whispered, "Jack, don't waste your time. Love your life, cherish your moments, and make them count. Tomorrow is not promised." He said to Jack, "I have always wanted to be a great sportsman, and I had all the capabilities to be a great sportsman. In fact, one of my close friend, who was less talented than me, have become great sportsmen. Now I understood why somebody who was less talented become great sportsmen, but I could not. That is dedication, discipline, and self-belief. So, Jack, believe on yourself and start to take action right now. Do not waste even a second, because time is so precious, you can't get it again." Those words hit Jack like a thunderbolt. For the first time, he realized the true weight of the hourglass Mr. Lawrence had given him. The next day, Jack returned to Mr. Lawrence's house. "I understand now," he said, his voice trembling. Time is precious, and I've wasted so much of it. How do I change? Mr. Lawrence smiled gently. Change begins with a single step. Start by valuing today. Set small goals, honor your commitments, and prioritize what truly matters. And most importantly, forgive yourself for the past. Learn from it, but don't live in it. Jack nodded, tears glistening in his eyes. He left with the hourglass, determined to transform his life. Slowly but surely, he began making changes. He woke up early, focused on his work, and reconnected with loved ones. He spent time with Emma, helping her family through their difficult period. Over the months, Jack discovered a sense of purpose. He started a project he had always dreamed of, a community center where people could learn skills, connect, and find inspiration. The hourglass sat on his desk as a constant reminder of the fleeting nature of time. Years later, Jack stood at the grand opening of his center. Emma, now his partner in life and work, stood beside him. Mr. Lawrence, though frail, attended the event, his eyes shining with pride. "Thank you," Jack said to Mr. Lawrence, handing him the hourglass. "You taught me to value what truly matters. This belongs to you." Mr. Lawrence smiled and shook his head. "No, Jack, it belongs to you. Pass it on to someone who needs the reminder." From that day forward, Jack carried the legacy of the hourglass, teaching others the lesson that had changed his life. Time is the most precious gift. Use it wisely. If you like the story, bless your friends by sharing this story with them. And do not forget, like, comment, and subscribe. This is Epic Inspire Stories.